A lot of people call my helpline with questions about yield because they don't think they're getting what they're supposed to. That's why I always tell you yield is based on light and quality is based on grower talent, because in the photosynthesis equation, plants use light for energy and combine water and CO2 to make sugar and oxygen. Nowhere in this equation does nutrients exist. That's why in this formula for your yield, I ask about light, if you're moving it, and CO2. Because if you've got a half-full garden of 6 shitty plants, it doesn't matter how much light you have, you're not going to get what you're supposed to. And even though I always tell you you're going to get a half pound on average from a 400, on average a pound from a 600, and a pound and a half on average from 1,000, there are a couple of other things that you have to consider, like rotations. Do you have a 1, 2, or 3 light rotation? And that's what we're going to talk about next, rotations. And while yield is based on light and quality on grower talent, how often you're going to get that yield is based on your rotation, whether that's a 1, 2, or 3 light rotation. Because I don't care how many plants you have, you got to have the space, because you can't put a 1,000-watt yield in a 400-watt space. So let's talk about the 1 light garden. If you've got just 1 light, that means you've got to veg your garden, let's say 30 days, and then flower your garden under the same light for 60 days. That means your garden is running consecutive. First veg, then flower, so we have to add them together. If you've got a 1,000-watt light, that means you're going to get a pound and a half, but it's going to take you 90 days. But if you have a 2-light garden, where the veg and the flower can happen concurrently, well then you're going to get the same yield in 30% less time. If you've got a 1,000-watt light, that means you're going to get a pound and a half every 60 days instead of every 90. That also means you're going to have an additional 600 watts in veg. And where the 1-light consecutive garden gets you a harvest every 90 days, and the 2-light concurrent garden gets you a harvest every 60 days, the 3-light concurrent garden gets you a harvest every 30 days if you schedule it like that. You can have a pound and a half from 1,000 watt come up every month. Remember, yield is based on light and quality on grower talent. So before you buy more light, if you want more yield, consider changing your rotation. But that's why people come to my store and call my helpline, because yield can be confusing.